Hi Stampers, it's Krista Thomas at regalstamping.com, and I just want to say thank you for joining me for another I Miss Your Face and online card class. The point of this card class is to just keep us all stamping while we are isolating during the coronavirus pandemic of 2020. So this first card that I want to share with you is a double point card. And I've got two different versions here, a little bit different. And I'll show you that it opens here and then on the inside. So it's an easy technique, and I thought it would be fun to do a couple of techniques for this online card class. So let's get started. I have a lot to show you today, and I want you to use what you have, but I will happily accept orders if you need something. So let's get with it. So for this card that I'm going to make today, I am using a base of Mossy Meadow cardstock, and I'm going to fold that in half as normal. It is 5.5 by 8.5, and then fold it in half. Okay. Next up, we have an old olive panel that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And what we're going to do to this piece is run it through the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. This is part of the Ornate Garden suite that is an early release and became available on April 1st. So I'm going to get my big shot up here in the screen. I need two hands, it's heavy. And let's see if I can get it in here. So I've got the paper in here, place it on the big shot, put a blue plate over it. This is the plate that is needed for the 3D embossing folders. It makes the sandwich just the right thickness. And this will be on my blog post if you need to order one. When we take that out, look at how gorgeous that is. It is just lovely. Okay, so let's put the big shot over there, get it out of the way. And next up, we need some designer series paper. And for my sample that I'll be doing in this video, we're going to be using some paper from the Best Dressed Designer Series paper pack that is in the January through June 2020 mini catalog. You'll notice on the two cards I showed before, the paper here is from the Ornate Garden Specialty Designer Series paper. And on this card, I used the Ornate Frames die, and on this one, I used the Stitched So Sweetly dies. So for the card I'm doing today, we're going to use the Stitched So Sweetly dies. But first, we need to make those points. So I need to get my scoring board in here. These two pieces of paper measure 4 inches by 3 inches. And we're going to score down the long edge at 1 inch. So from the short edge, that's what's going to be up at the top of your scoring board. It should measure across to 3 inches. Score all the way down at 1 inch. And do that on both, just like that. And let's put this aside. Okay, so now we have that 1 inch score line. We're going to fold down on it. Fold down, and then open it back up. And we're going to fold these corners up to that score line. And you want that edge that you're bringing up to be even with that score line. This is going to create those 2 points. So just like that. And now we've got our point. Okay, so go ahead and do that to both pieces. And I might have gone a little too high there. Oops, right there. Okay, there we go. Now, these pieces go behind here, but you'll notice that these flaps are lifting, and so what I have decided I like to do is just put a little bit of glue under those flaps and glue them back down. That way they just stay put. So let's take a second to do that. Okay, and then you put glue here and it goes behind this panel. Same thing for this one, it goes down at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to quickly do that and lay this panel onto it. Just like that. And right there. Okay, and see, those just fold right over, just like that. Okay, once you have those on, go ahead and glue this panel to your card front. Like that. Okay. Now, I'll set that aside for a minute. And the next piece that I need is a rectangle that I cut with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And I'm using, so I've got the largest and then the second largest for this card. The second largest one is cut from Whisper White, and depending on your designer series paper, you may opt to use Very Vanilla. And then the largest of the frames in this shape is cut from Mossy Meadow. So once I stamp on this and color, it's going to go on here, okay? So that's how I did those. So to stamp this, I'm going to use a daisy from the Ornate Style stamp set, this one right here. Again, this is from the Ornate Style or Ornate Garden suite that became available on April 1st. And I'm going to stamp that with Early Espresso. And just a little higher than center. If you don't have this stamp set, find a flower that you do have, that will work. I know we all have lots of flowers. And at the bottom, I am going to say My Friend, and this is from the Ornate, oh, what's it called? Ornate Thanks stamp set, also a part of that Ornate Garden suite. Okay, clean that off. And then we're going to quickly color this in using some Stampin' Blend. For this particular flower, I chose Lovely Lipstick because it was a color that was found in the designer series paper. So I'm going to start with the light marker. These are alcohol-based markers. And I always recommend that you get the light and the dark version of each one that's available, because the thing that's neat about these is the blending capabilities. So you may not always need both colors for what you're working on, but you always want that option. So you can see I did not come all the way into the center of that flower because I'm actually going to go in with the dark version and start at the center and flick out. And I'm not flicking all the way to the ends of those petals. I want some of that lighter colored ink. You know what? I'm going to switch to the small. Have a little more control that way on this tiny flower. So flick, 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 bringing in that darker color to the center and lighter as it goes out. Okay. And then in the center, I've decided to use the dark Daffodil Delight. So we'll just go in like that. And then the leaves and the stem I am doing with Old Olive Light and then Mossy Meadow Light. I like those two together. And I have misplaced my Old Olive Dark. So that's probably the one I would have used, but I can't find it. I need to order a new one. As soon as I order a new one, I'll find the old one, but that's the way life is. Okay, so the Mossy Meadow Light, just a little bit, like that. Okay, and so now this is ready to glue onto the Mossy Meadow background piece. Just like that. All right, so now it's time to put this on the front of the card, but we only glue it to the top point. So let's make sure my fold is still at the left. Yes, it is. It would be awful to glue it on upside down. Yes, I have done that before. So I'm going to put some glue right here. Just a circle there to hold it good. And then I want to center this from top to bottom and side to side as best I can. Okay. And then that is glued on. Now this could be glued down if you didn't want to put a sentiment back here. But one of the neat things about this technique is that you can add something. So we're going to do that using 2 dies from the Stitched So Sweetly set, these 2 right here. I have cut out from Lovely Lipstick, this die, and then from White, this one. They're going to layer up like this. And on the white, I am going to stamp the word Seriously, which is also from that Ornate Thanks stamp set. Has all kinds of sayings in it. They don't have to be a thank you. And in this case, my card is going to say, my friend, seriously, you are amazing. So that is kind of a fun little verse. Okay, so this gets glued onto here. Get it centered. And then this will glue behind here so that when this is closed, those words on the dies are hidden. I have something stuck to the back. There we go. So I'm going to glue this flat. Okay. Just like that. Okay. So then these close over it. Now, if it bothers you that this flips up, you could add a little piece of Velcro. And what I did was cut, I have the 2 sides stuck together, and then I just cut a little square. And I'm going to place that right here. And then peel off the other side, close, and right there. That's going to hold it shut. Now let me show you what I did on the first card that I made of this. I did the vellum, the Velcro. Whoops, and I just ripped it. Okay. I did the Velcro but I put it up here in the point, and that made this one too high. So it still flips up, and I didn't care for that. So if you're doing this, put it on your frame first, right here, and then just close it and it'll stick where it needs to be. Does that make sense? That way it does hold it shut. If you don't want to use Velcro, then don't. It does make a little bit of a bump if you're mailing this, but it's not too bad. And these are just Velcro strips that I got at Walmart. Okay, for the inside of this card, I'm now going to take, you know what, this is vanilla, and for this card I want Whisper White. So I keep lots of white and vanilla pre-cut to matte size. So there's a white. And then I want the inside sentiment, which says, "You're amazing." We'll go right here. And you can decorate the inside of this card up however you like. But I am going to use the corner frame that is from that same stamp set. The color that I'm using for my corners is Lovely Lipstick, since that is what coordinates with this designer series paper. And I'm going to do one at the top left corner and one at the bottom right. If you want to do one in each corner, you can, but I feel like that might just be a little bit too much. And so I'm opting for just two, okay? And then this will glue to the inside of this card. Right here. Just like that. Okay, so now we have made our double point technique card. My friend, seriously, you're amazing. All right, so that is how you make a double point card, and I will see you in the next video, which is for a double fold card. And thanks for joining me.